Good morning, everyone. Congratulations, you've made it to June. We're like barely here, right? But that means that there's all kinds of exciting stuff that's coming up. First of all, we have kids that are going to camp, and we have kids that are going on mission trips. And so at the very end of the service, they're going to come up here, and we're going to have a chance to pray over them as they go all their different places. Because they're coming up here, I'm going to go ahead and give you all some of the announcements I would normally give at the end. First of all, I do want to celebrate those wonderful golf teams we heard about earlier. We do have photographic evidence that they were present and that they had a great time. So there's our award-winning team, right there. Award-winning team. They did great. We also have Mr. Putter's team here. He did bring home an award for that, but they obviously had a great time all together. And then I think we got a big group pic of all of our Greenwood people. There's no doubt that we had the most fun out there. There's like no question about that. We always bring the fun. Also, I believe at the end, Anthony, there's a picture of a T-shirt. We're going to be having Creative Kids Camp here at the Greenwood campus in July, and it's going to be a great time. It's going to be Lego focused this year, and we're going to sell T-shirts to help us raise money for that. I can't let you buy this shirt yet today because I do not have the QR code, but I want to just like put it out there in front of you and let you see it. And you'll get a link this week, okay? So if you'd like to help us raise funds for Creative Kids Camp and get a cool T-shirt in the process, you'll have the opportunity to buy that coming up soon. Also, next week after service is our cookout, and we'll have a big water slide for big kids. We'll have a jumpy house and a small slide for younger kids. We're going to have 9 square in the air. We're going to have all kinds of stuff out for y'all to play. So stick around, have a hamburger and hot dog. And because we're having this cookout and we're going outside, we're going to encourage everyone to go casual next week. All right, come casual next Sunday. We're going to dress down. Yes.
Also, guys, we're going to trust you to just bring something.
We're not going to do a sign-up
genius. You don't have
genius.
to sign up because you're not good at that anyway.
We love you, but it's true.
We love you, but Saturday, Laura's like, should we buy meat? And I'm like, I don't know. And then Sunday morning, 12 people have signed up for meat. So we're going to trust you.
We trust you. We're bringing the hamburgers. We're bringing the hot dogs.
Meat.
That's right. Yeah. So you bring sides,
and
desserts, and drink. Yeah, drinks. Yeah, sides, dessert, or y'all got this. We're gonna send you email reminders, but you got this. All right. Okay. I think that's all my announcements. Today is the last day of our 2-degree challenge, where we've been, looking at just like little turns that we can make to enrich our relationships with one another. Because it's the last day, I brought something special with me. It's something that I treasure. In fact, every time, you're having to do one of those get-to-know-you games. Who loves get-to-know-you games? None of us, right? Oh, Tammy does. All right, Tammy. Oh, Andrea, great. So you all know one of the questions that sometimes comes up in a get-to-know-you game is like, if your house was on fire and you could only take one item with you, what would it be, right? And this is always my answer. This is a picture of my great-grandparents, who are known to me as Nana and Granddaddy George. They lived a lot of life. They lived through the Great Depression and 2 World Wars. They lived through a very, how would you describe me, Ma? Feisty daughter, 4 rambunctious grandsons. They were extra parents to all kinds of students and ball players. And before my granddaddy George passed away when I was 5 years old or so, he and my great-grandmother had been married nearly 58 years. So lots of life experience in this picture. And the reason why it's so special to me is obviously because it depicts 2 people who I adored. And whenever I look at this picture, I just remember the family of love from which I've come. But more than that, the reason why this is so precious to me is that this very picture in that very frame sat beside my great-grandmother, Nana, sat right beside her rocking chair. And every time I would go and visit her, she'd be rocking in that chair, and that picture would be right beside her. And without fail, every time that we would be sitting there and she'd be rocking along, she'd glance over at this picture and she'd say, "Look at me. I look like the cat that swallowed the canary." That's what she always said. And then she would start telling me stories about their lives. And I loved those stories. There was so much wisdom that she would pass on to me. You know, she was a deep believer in Jesus. And so she would tell me stories about her faith. She would share with me wisdom about her adventures, you know, and living life to the full. She shared with me stories about overcoming obstacles, about things in her life that didn't go as she expected, but how all that ended up playing out. But most of all, she shared with me her wisdom about relationships. She was like the quintessential Southern, sweet, gentle woman. And she knew how to foster connections with other people. At the same time, she was fiercely protective of her family. So you better not say anything bad about us or she'll take you out. But other than that, totally gentle and kind lady, right? But I would listen to her share, and I'll tell you, there's nothing I wouldn't do to have the opportunity to sit at her feet and to gain just a little bit more wisdom from her. Perhaps you have such a person in your life. And if so, then you know what a treasure that truly, truly is. It's a gift. These people God has given us. But in reality, all of us have been given a gift like this through the pages of Scripture. We have the book of Proverbs, which is a collection of wisdom. It's a collection of sayings of people probably over the span of about 800 to 1,000 years. But then those sayings were all written down and they were preserved and they were passed from one generation to the next generation so that we could be guided along to not just endure this life as a burden, but rather so that we could enjoy life to the full. Some of the sayings are written as if they're written from a parent to a child. Some of them are recorded as if it's a teacher talking to a student. Some of them, it's more like a sage talking to the masses. However, all of these sayings are meant to open up a conversation for us. You know, these were written a long time ago to a different group of people in a different setting with different norms. But still, within these sayings, we can find some timeless wisdom. They're meant to open up this conversation about what it looks like now for us to experience the fullness of life that God always, always, always intended for us. Perhaps the most famous proverb is found in Proverbs chapter 3, and it's written as if it's from a father to a son. It is one of those proverbs I'm going to bet when we get down to verse 5 through 6, you've heard it. Our kids in our early learning center across town, they sing a song about this proverb, and it's got motions to it, and I can't read the verse anymore. I want to sing it. I'm not going to sing it because y'all know I can't sing, but it's a very famous one, and this is what it says. It says, "My son, do not forget my teaching, but keep my commands in your heart, for they will prolong your life many years and bring you peace and prosperity. Let the love and faithfulness never leave you. Bind them around your neck and write them on the tablet of your heart. Then you will win favor and a good name in the sight of God and man." If you would, read the last two verses with me. "Trust in the Lord with all your heart and lean not on your own understanding. In all your ways submit to him, and he will make your paths straight." You know, you taught in ELC. That's what the kids do. Straight, right? This is this sage wisdom that's been passed on to us. And the wisdom is simply this. You know, seek God, trust God with all that you've got. And you can do that because you can trust that he is going to indeed guide you. He is indeed going to lead you, and not just in any direction, but in a direction that is good, and a direction that will lead you toward abundance. We here in this room, we are a community of people who are seeking to do that together, who are seeking earnestly to trust God with all our hearts and lean not on our own understanding. We are a group of people who are seeking to allow him to guide us in a way that leads to that fullness and abundance of life. And as a result, there's a lot of experience in this room, right? There's a whole lot of wisdom that's been gained over the years through us as individuals and us as a community. And so today, what I'd like for us to do is to essentially like pull up a chair like I used to next to my grandmother's rocking chair. And I want you to hear from some of the people in our congregation about one of the most vital aspects of our lives that guides us to experience full life. And that is what we've been focusing on throughout this whole series, our relationships. And so I have some volunteers, a panel of 6 people who are coming up now. And we're going to hear from them. What they don't know, come on up. If you're on the panel, come on up. These are different kinds of relationships that we're going to hear from today. We're going to hear from a married couple. You are still married today, right? Okay, great. A married couple. We're going to hear from a son and daughter, son and mother.
Thank you.
Daughter, obviously. A son and mother, and we're going to hear from best friends, okay? They're going to share their wisdom with us, but what they don't know is to help us warm up, I have a little game for us, okay? A little game to see how well you know each other. So, pen for you and you. We love you. A pen for you and you. This is like the Newlywed Game, but we're going to call it the Battle of the Besties, okay? And let me explain how this works. I'm going to ask a question, and what you're going to write down on your board is what you think the other person's answer is. Not your answer, but what you think the other person would say about themselves, okay? So, no cheating. You're not allowed to look at your board. And what's up for grabs is a $50 gift certificate to a restaurant to go and eat. Right, raise this up. No cheating. Okay. So here is your first question. Okay, what is your friend, your partner on the stage's go-to comfort food? So remember, you're writing down what the other person, what you think their comfort food is. I'm having to explain this a lot because the last service it took a lot of explaining for them to get it. Okay. You're writing down what the other person would say, their go-to comfort food. It's not right? That's okay. That makes it more fun for us. Maybe not for your ride home, but more fun for us. Okay. We have them locked in. We're gonna start down here with our best friends, Carla and Courtney. Carla, go ahead and tell us, what is your go-to comfort food?
French fries.
French fries? What did you say, Court?
Potatoes.
Potatoes?
Carbs.
Carbs? Potatoes or nachos? We're gonna go ahead and give you a point for that. That's good. Okay, wait. Y'all keep your own tallies. I'm trusting y'all a lot. All right, Court, what is your go-to comfort food? Say the right thing.
I like there's so many categories of comfort. Queso, just a queso. It's also potatoes. It is.
All right, y'all got 1 point. It's good. You got 1 point, all right? Y'all can argue this out later. All right. So, Miss Brenda, what is your go-to comfort food? What do you like to eat? And we'll see if Steve got it right.
What's yours?
That's what you're supposed to. You're supposed to. You did right, but you tell us what yours is before we reveal his answer for you. Pizza? What'd you put? Pizza! You get a point. All right. Steve, what's your go-to comfort food? Cheeseburger? What do you got? Miss Brenda, what did you put? She put Mexican food. I mean, I think that's all of our comfort food from time to time. You got a point. Go ahead. Y'all got 1 point. Go ahead and mark it down. They're not the same. No, they got a point because Lincoln's our roll keeper. They get a point because the pizza, they got that one right, okay?
Subtract a point for cussing?
No. At the Greenwood campus, that like multiplies it by 10. But, okay. So, Brittany, what is your comfort food? We'll see if Evan got it right.
I said French fries.
French fries? What'd you say, Evan? What'd you say?
Bag gummy bears.
White bag gummy bears. That's a good one too. All right, Evan, what is your comfort food? Fried chicken. Goes for the draw. All right, y'all get another chance. You get another chance. All right, erase your boards. Keep your points. Just so I think I'm tracking. Sorry about that. We got 1, 1, 0. Okay. All right. Second question. Oh, we're gonna skip this one. Go to the next one. Next one, please. What is their most irrational fear? It doesn't even have to be. It can be rational or irrational. What's their biggest fear? Let's just make it easier like that. What's their biggest fear? Everything. Okay, we're gonna start with Brittany and Evan this time. Evan, what is your biggest fear? We'll see if Britt got it. Change. Oh, that's true.
Oh, yeah. I even do that one.
I've never had to pray for somebody before they go for a regular optometrist appointment, except for Evan. He is very afraid. Laura, is she in the room? Laura Compton, where are you? Maybe you can help me.
I already scanned the room. They're not here.
She must be downstairs. She's downstairs. Okay. All right. So, Britt, what's your fear?
I would say like being left, like abandoned.
Being abandoned. This is deep. Okay.
This is going to count.
Okay.
Staying in the house alone.
Okay. I'll give you a point. All right. Let's move on. Brenda, what are you most afraid of? And then we'll see if Steve got it. She's not afraid of anything. Is that your answer?
They don't dare, Bob.
There is something she fears.
Oh,
Crashing.
okay.
Water.
Oh, you're afraid of water. Okay.
Being on the water.
Okay, we won't put you on the water slide next week, all right? All right. Steve, Steve, tell us your fear, and we'll see if she got it right.
Heights.
Heights? What'd you put?
I put going to work.
Going to work. We all share that fear. I get that. I get it.
That's
Yeah.
not an irrational fear. That's a real fear.
That's a real fear. All right. So, Court, what's your fear? Let's see if Carla knows.
Okay, I think probably either roller coasters or being afraid.
Shoot, I forgot about roller coasters.
I said not being able to work.
She's a workaholic.
I mean, that was fair. All right. Carla, what are you most afraid of?
Probably people I love dying.
Terrible death scenarios.
Yes!
You get a point. All right. So we've got 2, 1, 1. Okay. All right. Last question. We'll have to come back to a tiebreaker if we tie here. All right. Who is their favorite musical artist or band? Who is?
You know it.
We don't get to phone friends, people. This is not Who Wants to Be a Millionaire.
Whoa! What just happened? Phone a friend. Phone a friend.
I should have given everybody a lifeline, I guess. Let's see. Subtract a point, Lincoln says. Okay. Let's start with, okay, sorry about that. Okay. All right. Steve, who is your favorite band? We'll see if she got it right.
My favorite band. Probably Allman Brothers.
Allman Brothers, what'd you say? We're going to give you all a point out of pity.
That's right.
Okay, you get a pity point. Okay. Who's your favorite band or musical artist?
Any of the rock people.
Any of them? Pick one. Anyone. You want to think about it for a minute? We'll come back to you. Okay, we'll come back. All right, let's come over to Brittany and Evan. Okay, Evan, or who's your favorite? And we'll see if Brittany phoned a friend correctly.
Stephen Wilson Jr.
Stephen Wilson Jr. Got marked down a point. All right, and Britt, who's your fave?
Lauren Daigle?
I had Lauren Daigle.
He changed it to Reba. I watched it happen in real time. That was a good try.
I spelled Daigle wrong.
All right, do you know now? What's yours? What's he saying?
Your mother should know because he's from Muhlenberg County.
John Prime.
John Pratt.
Okay.
Said Simon Garfunkel.
Oh, okay. All right. So how many points do you have again? Y'all have two? Y'all have two? You all have two because you got a pity point. Y'all have two. So y'all only got to get one right. Okay. So,
We should go at the same time. I have a feeling it's the same.
you think it's the same person? All right, turn around. Hey, is that right? Is it right? 4. All right, congratulate our winners. Battle of the besties. All right, you can sit your boards down. And if y'all are each going to need a microphone so we can make sure we hear these next answers. All right, so everybody pick up your mics.
Oh, it's Miss Brenda's. It's Brandy Carlisle.
Oh, she's a good one. She's a good one. All right. Now for some more serious questions, okay? Let's start with Carla and Court. Tell us how long you've known each other and what your relationship is like.
So I did the math, and this fall it's 26 years. We've been best friends for 26 years. And what is our relationship like?
It's the best. It really is to have somebody who has like gone with you like before you had your full frontal lobe all the way through your mistakes and the best parts of life. We've moved to different cities together. We've done work together. All of it.
At this point, we've lost parents.
Yeah, I mean, all those like big transitions in life, like we've just lived through so many of them together and next to each other, and it's just there's nothing like having an anchor that's that long and knows you at your best and your worst.
Like Courtney's literally my emergency contact, and I say sister instead of friend because at this point that's what we are. So
Yeah, and even down to like when my family like sat down and my family of origin sat down and did like funeral planning and all that kind of stuff. Like she's part of it, of like all the things that go with that. And so even my family assumes she is family.
Yeah, I love that. That's beautiful. All right, Steve and Brenda, how long have you known each other?
66 years.
66 years, okay? And tell us a little bit about what your relationship looks like as mother and son. Let's see if I can.
What's it like?
good.
It's good, she says.
It's good. Yeah, we grew up together. She was very young when I came into this world. So
When Steve was born, I was just a teenager. And his dad was very young too. And we just started, he was just something that we loved. And I never had the thought that I didn't want to take care of him. That never crossed my mind. I'm just enchanted by him.
Aww.
And he was this is Mom bragging. He was a cute little baby.
Thank you, Miss Brenda. Y'all can keep yours. All right. Brittany and Evan, how long have y'all known each other and what's your relationship like?
18 years,
18 years.
and it's fun.
It's fun. Tell us more.
We laugh a lot. We used to say we need cameras in the house. We would make a great reality TV show
I believe that.
because some of the stories that we tell are like, people aren't going to believe that unless it was on camera for a reality show. It would be kind of a boring reality show, but there would be good episodes.
Now y'all met at college, is that right?
Yeah, English 300. And this is how I proved that we've known each other since 2007 and not 2006. Because 2006 was still freshman year, and you can't take English 300 in your freshman year. So I won that argument.
Good job.
Disagreement.
I see. Good job. I'm glad you got one. All right. So we'll start with Evan and Brittany this time. What's kept you close over this 18 years, and what part has your faith played in that? What part has your faith played in that?
Over the years, I would say just experiences that we've gone together, the losses and the celebrations and everything, but also the faith. I didn't grow up in faith, and he did, and so we've always kind of been like parallel between our faith, right? So we've grown individually so that we can grow together, and met in points of our lives where he needed, a little more faith in that situation, and same with me, and so we come together in certain points. But also, I think the community here at Greenwood specifically changed our faith to where we want to dive more into it. We want to have that community. We want to have that strength between the two of us.
Love that. All right. Miss Brenda and Steve, how have you kept your relationship close, and how has your faith played a part in that?
Well, one thing that kept us close is music.
Music's kept them close.
He started out with a little Mickey Mouse white little guitar. He was about 2 years old, I guess. And he went from that to a Stratocaster somewhere along the line. And believe you me, that's an altogether different sound.
Yeah, a Mickey Mouse guitar versus a Stratocaster is pretty significant change.
The things that happened to us in life that we had.
Yeah, the things we've been through, bad times and the good, that brought us closer together, and it's also strengthened our faith.
Yeah.
And for me, when I came here to this church, I felt that my faith was changed. I mean, it wasn't that old, where you go to church, all this, but there was people that were laughing. And I saw little children happy and if you've gone to a church where everything is so serious all the time, that's the way you think church is supposed to be. And I came here and I saw people, that were having a little fun, and I'm not too old to have fun.
That's right. That's right, Miss Brenda.
And I could hug people. That's what I love. And show them I love them.
Yeah, you give the best hugs, Miss Brenda. All right, Court and Carla, what has kept you close, and what part has your faith played in that? Queso.
Queso. I was like, queso and bourbon? No. I feel like the truth is, like, we came close. Like, we started that way. And every now and then you just, like, have one of those friendships that is so kindred before you even know it is. And we just got lucky in the sense that we found it. And it has been the easiest thing in the world to cultivate, because she's just one of my favorite humans in the world, and that has never changed. And as far as the faith goes, I mean, that's been super cool, because we, like, both grew up in faith and in different types of faith, but in the same of, like, it is life and breath in the way we move through the world. And like, so we've had all these different ways of like falling in love with it and then deconstructing it and growing wildly and then pulling back. And like, we've gotten to do that whole, like, I think, journey of it feeling alive because we felt alive even when we didn't. And like, there's nothing like that. And then finding this community here where it's, you can just see it. You can just see it. It's just life is allowed. And like, that's how we've been living our faith journey this whole time, that life is allowed and beautiful. And so it's been so awesome to have that.
I think one of the other things is that, you know, you're not in a relationship with somebody for 25 years and you don't change. 26 years and you don't. We were 5 when we met. But you know, like, and I think that's part of it too, that along the way, like as Courtney's personality has changed or my personality has changed or grown or morphed, we're just like, okay, you know, like that's who you are and that's okay. And we've kind of always just given each other that. And I feel like that is, like I said earlier, it feels like a sibling relationship. You're like, well, she's here. I mean, if she's changing, whatever, like she's here. And I think that's been really cool too, to be in a relationship with someone that long that you get to watch them grow into a new person over and over. So
Beautiful. We'll go ahead and start with you all on this next one. How have you dealt with conflict in your relationship?
to be quite honest, we've never had tons of conflict. But anytime we've had like a misunderstanding or one of those moments, we just really talk about it. Like, and we don't wait. Like, I mean, I think as soon as she aggravates me, I tell her. Like, you know, she's like the little sister gnat that just won't go away. No.
It's been like 20 years since that happened.
Honestly, that's not much of a lie. Like again, I think it goes to that thing where you just let somebody grow into who they are and you just accept like this is who that person is. And so yeah, we honestly haven't had a ton.
No.
Yeah.
I mean, I think the real thing is like we've always given each other permission to be human first and then friends after. And like, I think that because of that, there's like, if there is, I mean, there really has been I can think we got into one fight about a social issue once.
And I was right.
You were right.
We're not keeping score or anything, but
she comes to all the progressive ideas faster than me. And then she teaches me about them. And so we argue them out as we're figuring it out, but we're really not arguing with each other. So we've had conflict there, but it wasn't like conflict between us.
It was like growing pains.
Yeah.
Growing.
But like, it wasn't ever like we're having this fight and I don't know if we're ever going to be okay again, ever. It was just like, you're there already? Like, how did you do that? And then like just giving each other that permission to be human. And I'm kind of always actually inspired when we disagree because I know probably I'm going to grow through it. Because she's probably right, as his history says at least. And so that's kind of looking at it through exciting eyes rather than catastrophic eyes has really been good.
yeah, that lens matters. It does. All right. What about you two? As mother and son, I'm sure you've never had any conflict ever.
It's been a long time if we have.
Yeah?
Probably in my teenage years, and I don't remember.
Yeah?
That's been so long, I can't even remember what it was about. But I do know that one thing that's helped is I think we both accept each other as we are
Yeah.
and don't try to change each other.
Yeah. That goes a long way, doesn't it? Anything you'd add, Miss Brenda?
Me and Steve, he always leaves from here and goes to my house to eat lunch with me at home. And we discuss a lot of things. You know, that's our time to sit down there on the couch and discuss. We can go from politics to religion to all the different issues that somebody might say, well, that'll cause an argument, so don't bring it up. But we don't. Because we usually agree, don't we, Steve? I brought him up right.
But it sounds like you've normalized being able to have conversations where maybe you do agree, maybe you don't, but you create that space for conversation, and that helps probably divert some of the conflict because you know you can talk about it.
Yeah, he knows that I would look at his side of it,
Yeah.
and he would look at my side.
So mutual
Because-
respect there.
Because it's just like a marriage. You know, people say, oh, we never had an argument. Well, one side is taking a whole lot.
Hmm.
My grandmother always said, if a couple doesn't argue, somebody's taking a lot of stuff.
Yeah, that's true though. That's true. Brittany and Evan, what's helped you deal with conflict?
When we did marriage counseling at Outback Steakhouse,
It's a great place for it to happen, by the way.
Todd Love, who he has been the superintendent, he wasn't at the time, but he was the pastor of her church in Owensboro. And so it was just convenient to do like a one long session at Outback. He said, he gave a great analogy of laying bricks. Anytime there's a conflict or an annoyance or an argument, that's a brick. And so it could be everybody that's married or is in a relationship or you live with somebody, they argue over the dishwasher. That's a brick. When you don't clean up after yourself, that's a brick. When you don't clean up after yourself the next day, that's a second, third brick. So all these things are minute, they don't matter. But over time, when they're not addressed, you can step over the bricks, but eventually you've got a wall between you two, and it's harder to knock down a whole wall than it is just to take away a brick. So his point was every time you put down a brick, pick it up and address it. And to this day, we do something that annoys each other or there's a conflict and we disagree, we say, I have a brick, and we talk about it. And so we just keep our relationship, the area between us, brick free, where there's not even a foundation for a wall to rise.
Perfect. That's great. That's a good. Oh, it's great
I can't
marriage
fault her for
counseling.
not being able to load the dishwasher.
Some people are very particular about those things, you know. All right. We're going to start in the middle for this last question, okay? What is one lesson on long-term commitment that you would pass on to all the rest of us?
In marriage, I was married for 55 years before Steve's dad passed on. And I always said for a marriage, it's being faithful to the person you married and saying, I'm going to stay with them till the end. If things come up I can't work out with them, we're going to argue over it and get over it and go on, you know. And relationships with other people, I just usually try not to hurt somebody's feelings.
Kindness goes a long way, doesn't it?
And, you know, I worry about that a lot. Because I can come home from, this is maybe something that I just do. I could come home from today and I'll go back over, oh, did I say something that hurt that person? Should I not have said that? Because Steve's dad would say, whatever she thinks, it comes out her mouth.
Don't feel
But I do, I love people. I do. And if I have an argument with somebody and it's one that hangs on, I try to step in to solve it. But I found out here, and it's been in this latter part of my life, that there's people you can't solve this argument because they don't want it solved. They want to keep on agitating you, and they don't want it off. And you can extend that hand out and out and out, and you get turned away.
Yeah,
And that for me is really difficult.
it is
Really?
hard.
Yeah.
It is
I just say that important thing in a long-term relationship, from what I see, is to never take that other person for granted.
Yeah,
Just always let them know that they're appreciated.
love that. Love that. We'll go to you guys. What's the one lesson you'd pass on?
I think laugh a lot is a good one.
Yeah.
But I do feel like a lot of it comes back to what I said earlier, and they've kind of hit on this as well, is you just have to let a person be who they are. And you know, you always have to, I think about, I'm not a good gardener at all, like I kill things, but I've heard that you have to there's some space for things to grow. And I don't know that, but because I kill things. But I do think that is true in a relationship. Like, you just have to give that space. And I think there's probably, I think I can put words in Courtney's mouth here and say there's times that she's probably thought, oh, Carla is not going down the right path, right? Like, that's not the best decision you've ever made. But we both just have, like, given each other the space to do that. And then, like, if you ask me for help, okay, but we don't just try to fix you immediately. Like, you've got to have space to learn and grow on your own. And I'll be there when you figure out, oh, like, how did I get to this place? And I think that we have found ourselves in that position with each other over and over again of being like, oh, look what I did. I know. So let's fix that together. So.
I think the thing that, definitely, like, we would go eat potatoes together in those moments, clearly, but, or chips and queso. But I think what I would pass on to you guys is that I don't try and make every person I meet a new Carla. And sometimes when we're running through the world and we're interacting with the space between people, we feel like we have to have a certain level of depth and connection, like, with everyone. Like, we're obligated, especially I think as, like, people of faith, we start looking for depth and love, and, like, we think it only has one depth. And I kind of come back to, like, Jesus didn't just have one depth. You know, like, he had the crowds, and he had the 12, and he had the 3, and then he had the 1. And, like, I think not looking at everyone like they are a potential for one or the other, and letting people come into your life for the length that it makes sense, and letting them go for the length that it makes sense, is actually what frees up room in my life for me to have this type of friendship for so long, that I'm not looking at everyone going, come join me in this type of commitment and length. It gives me space to keep the relationships and to love the relationships as they come and go in my life.
Yeah. Thank you. What about you guys? What one lesson would you pass
I
on?
would say, start out, if you know me, I have commitment issues. And so long-term commitments wig me out. So the longest commitment I've ever had, right? But thankful for that. The one thing is I tend to always say, celebrate the small successes along the way. Whether it's something with work or something with life, or just something small, a good day or whatever, celebrate those small successes. We are both very naturally competitive, but we don't necessarily in life compete with one another. He makes me want to be a better person, so I think that helps. And I also think if you have a commitment and you can break it down into smaller pieces, it's a little easier to attain. But also, if the commitment is something worth having, then it's a lot more attainable. And so you will put your time and your money and your thoughts and your good vibes into that commitment. So I would say celebrating it along the way, and recognizing that you want to have the commitment.
Yeah. Anything you did?
No, we discussed this.
You discussed this? Okay. All right. Well, let's thank our panel for their wisdom. One of the things that I learned early on in life is that to keep connections close, you have to be in close proximity to one another, right? You have to cultivate that relationship by spending time with one another. And that is something that my great-grandmother taught me. She might have bribed our family a little bit. She said, if you go to church on Sunday morning, I will cook you Sunday lunch at my home. And so it was amazing. All of her grandchildren and all of her great-grandchildren would go to church, and then we would go and we'd sit down and share a special meal together. And those meals are some of the most precious memories that I have. I can still just remember the conversations that we had and the fun that we had. And I wish, again, just like I wish I could sit down beside my great grandmother's chair and listen to her stories, I wish I could sit down for one of those meals together with them. Jesus, he gave us a special meal to share with one another to help us keep our relationship as brothers and sisters in Christ close. On the night that he gave himself up for us, he took the bread and he gave thanks to the Father, and he gave it to his disciples and said, "Take, eat. This is my body given for you. Do this in remembrance of me." And then when the supper was over, he took the cup and he once again gave thanks to the Father, and he gave it to his disciples, saying, "Drink from this, all of you. This is the blood of the new covenant poured out for you and for many for the forgiveness of sins. As often as you drink from it, do this in remembrance of me." As those who are helping serve this morning come forward at this time, would you pray with me, please? Lord God, pour out your Spirit on us gathered here and on these gifts of bread and cup. Make them be for us the blood of Christ, that we might be for the world the body of Christ redeemed by his blood. By your Spirit, make us one with Christ, one with each other, and one in ministry to all the earth until that day when Christ returns in final victory and we feast together at his heavenly banquet. We pray this in the name of the Father, Son, and Holy Spirit. Amen.